This is the minor side of life. And now, Rob Sternberg.
Thank you, Pete. And we're so glad you are with us, of course, here on the minor side of life. This is where we talk candidly about the business and promotional aspects of minor league sports. Each episode, you'll hear from a different guest who's either worked in a minor league office or played or performs on the minor league stage. We talk about how they got started, what they've learned, and some opinions and personal stories along the way. If you have worked in minor league sports or want to know what it's like, then this is the show for you. For me, though, from the Texas League and the Eastern League to the PCL and now the International League, I'll bring almost a decade of minor league baseball stories and experience to the table, and very much looking forward to sharing them with you. Just like today on this episode, we'll talk to Mitch Canham. Mitch is a great talker and has a great story from winning the College World Series twice, actually, to his time in the minor leagues and eventually becoming a manager in the Mariners system. This show and this episode probably could have gone on forever, so definitely had a good time talking and learning from Mitch, and hope you do too. As expected, really, so many people had such great things to say about episode number 9 with Kaylee Swanson. Kaylee had some great insight and lessons as to what it takes to succeed in the sports industry, really, and as the great Pete Canianis so eloquently stated, it's a good listen for anyone looking to break in, so definitely encourage you to check that out. Episode number 9 with Kaylee Swanson. Isn't that right, Pete? All right, well, either way, we'll check back in with you in a bit here as we remind everyone else to visit minorside.com for all the archive episodes, and done a decent job mixing it up as far as who we're talking to every episode here. The format, more or less, is to talk to people who perform in all facets, of course, of this industry, not just players, let's say, but office people of all levels, executives, mascots, chickens, you name it. It's all available over at minorside.com and wherever you are listening to this podcast. Also, over at minorside.com right now, you can learn about a great offer from Promotional Adventures. If you or someone in your office, or someone you know for that matter, is scheduling and purchasing promotional giveaway items, no matter the sport, definitely check this offer out right now, and we'll tell you a little bit more about it shortly here on the minor side. And we do, of course, thank Promotional Adventures for their support and presenting this episode of the minor side of life. While we're at it, we do kindly ask you for your support as well. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The show page is at The Minor Side. And while we have our hand out, put that out, Pete. While we have our hand out, please leave us a review on iTunes as well, preferably a good one. And as far as a formal introduction, we're going to get right into this episode and welcome in the current head baseball coach at Oregon State, Mitch Canham. Mitch was a real decorated amateur. He was a catcher at Oregon State, and he, of course, won back-to-back College World Series with the Beavers in 2006 and 2007. That senior year, he was all Pac-10 and a College World Series tournament team selection. Soon thereafter, he was drafted 57th overall as part of a compensation pick after the first official round of the MLB draft. That was in 2007, and was drafted by the Padres. And after reaching as high as AAA in a 9-year minor league career, he actually spent it with 5 different organizations and 2 indie teams. So well-traveled, and especially in those back nines, so to speak, he just kept getting offers to coach, and finally he took one up. He's a Pacific Northwest native from Oregon, and he landed a job in the Seattle Mariners system, and he showed real promise as a coach and a manager there. Had a career winning percentage of over .540 across 3 levels. His team made the playoffs in 3 out of 4 seasons, or 3.5 seasons, as we'll talk about. He won the California League title, and when he was named Manager of the Year in that league in 2017, really many who scout or are on the real baseball side of the minor side would say Mitch was definitely on a path to become a big league manager. And this past season, after his 3rd promotion in 3 years, he was a manager of the AA Arkansas Travelers for the Mariners. And Mitch left the team halfway through to pursue an opportunity with his alma mater back at Oregon State. And with that, we're glad to talk to the aforementioned head baseball coach. Mitch, good to get a chance to talk to you. How you doing?
Doing good, Rob.
Awesome. And we'll get right into it. Like I said, you had a great story in terms of all your success at Oregon State. And now to be back there after a great little run in the Mariners organization with a lot of their younger talent, kind of walk us through what happened this season and just being able to come back to Oregon State and had that come about while you were in North Little Rock with the Travs. How did it all swing together for you?
Yeah, I was out in Little Rock with the Mariners AA affiliate. And we were just about reaching the All-Star break for the season, a little before that, and the Oregon State head coaching position had opened up. Obviously, my alma mater and my home opportunity to get home and be near family and be a part of the program that formed me into the man I am today and take over that position, without a doubt, was going to apply for that position. Had a ton of support from the Mariners. They know how much I love being a Mariner, and I learned vast amounts from being there, the resources from top to bottom. And when this opportunity arose, everyone was right there with me saying, let's, of course, pursue this, go at it with everything you have. We're in your corner. We know this has been your dream. So, going through that and then, within a few weeks saying, all right, we're packing up and we're moving back west. So getting out here was very exciting. Again, being home with all the resources that are here and the people that care, they've made the transition very smooth.
And so now you're definitely knee deep in the program there, and we could touch a bit on that because the Beavers took home the national championship in 2018. So a lot to still follow up just a year and a half ago. And the first overall pick in this year's draft was another catcher from Oregon State, Adley Rutschman, who was the MVP of the tournament that year, and combined with two of the top starters and six pitchers overall coming out from the draft. Going into this year, you really have a lot of innings to replace your first season.
Well, that's part of professional baseball. That's part of collegiate athletics as well. People are going to come in and then they're going to be moving forward. And, I'm not looking at it like we have holes to fill. Really, all of us are staying in the present moment. And that means working hard, working smart, working together, holding each other accountable throughout the fall, and the games that we have, our Orange and Black series, making the most out of each practice. each day we're over in the weight room or when we're with our tutors. So I'm not looking too far ahead and going to be concerned about something that's not in our control. Just focusing on the men that are here and getting them to their peak performance.
Yeah, and alumni games notwithstanding and all the other opportunities to get back on campus, you really do have such deep-rooted ties there, especially now, obviously, coming sort of full circle. And even the way you talk about your approach with the team, just it sounds like your experience there obviously was a life-changing sort of deal out there for you. With all the success that you had there, getting drafted right after the first round, and now as a coach, you have that responsibility for your team moving forward. Now, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this program and this university and this community changed my life for the better, no doubt about it. It wasn't just the stuff that we did on the field and how we got after it, and how tight each of us were in the clubhouse and how we are still very close. But, there were professors, there were, various people in the community. My hero, Jess Lewis, who was head of our grounds crew, that influenced my life, and all the guys that I shared the locker room with. influence their lives for the better. And just the other day we had our alumni weekend, and 140 alumni showed up to golf, and you're seeing baseball alums from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and you see the recent guys that were just here with Larnick and Madrigal and Rutch. Everyone's coming back, Quan. And while you're here, you fall in love and you grow tremendously. And when you leave, you still are a part of that. It never changes. It's a lifelong thing.
And all those guys playing professionally right now, and of course, Adley Rutschman in the Orioles system right now, moving on up. But I feel like, honestly, a lot of athletes had that sort of experience on their own campus, wherever they played. Not to say that too many guys, of course, had the fortune to win back-to-back national titles. I'm not saying that, but it certainly does sound tight-knit the way you describe it. But I guess why? What did it for you in your own eyes?
The biggest thing I felt was we were always being pushed and challenged to be better. And it wasn't just from the coaches. It was from the culture of the student athletes. When you're sitting in the clubhouse, if you're not thinking and talking and working towards becoming a national champion, then you're not going to be in that locker room very long. And we were all on the same wavelength of what we wanted to accomplish and how we were going to do it. It didn't matter whether you were playing or not, or what position you were at, if you got a hit or not. It was, I'm going to take care of what I can take care of right now, and be the best I can be with this opportunity. And sometimes, that means you're not playing, but what can you do to help this family succeed at this given moment? And we all bought into that. And that's something that I learned and I continue to emphasize even today.
Sure. And I'm just fired up here listening to you talk about it. But I am curious, though, what was it when you talk about Jess Lewis and looking up to him? Can you expand on that and tell us that?
Well, Jess Lewis, for example, when I first showed up on campus my freshman year, I did work study. I was out there taking care of some of the fields and hauling bags of sand or bark, or you name it. And, I remember showing up to work, and Jess Lewis would always come in with the same attitude every day. And while I remember a wrestler and I were lifting up these huge bags of sand, he'd grab one end, I'd grab the other, and we'd toss it in the back of the gator. Jess came over and goes, "All right, let's get going. We got to keep working." And he'd grab one of those huge bags of sand that took two of us, one in each hand, and throw it in the back of the gator, reach down, grab two more. Come on, we got work to do. And, very positive. He was, his hands were like bear paws. And just his strength. And then I took a class, and Jess Lewis shared his story in this class. He was one of the teachers of this class, and shared his story about adversity and overcoming drug issues after he had left college and went on to the NFL. And we're talking about an Olympian wrestler and a pro football player, just a tremendous athlete who fell down the wrong road, and talked about, just him sharing that experience opened my eyes about being vulnerable and owning the moment and how much more we can do for others around us. And so each day that's part of my morning, is waking up and writing letters to people and expressing gratitude, starting the day off right, and understanding that where we're at right now, and when we step into that classroom and we're going to teach, when we step onto that field or in the locker room and we get a chance to teach, that we can be influencing someone in a big way at any given moment. So it's important not to let that time pass us by and take it for granted, to attack each day with everything that you got, and part of our pillars is being selfless, doing the right thing, developing a strong process. And yes, having fun is on there because the fun is the joy. And it doesn't always mean goofing off. It means finding the fun part of the process, finding the joy in being a selfless person and taking care of others. Those are all things that were built into myself and all my other brothers here while being a Beef.
Well, I knew that'd be awesome going in, getting to hear that. But Jess Lewis, of course, two-time NCAA heavyweight wrestling champion, competed in the 1968 Olympics, and right in that time frame went back to school to wrestle and play football, where he was also a two-time All-Pac-8 selection. Guess they're up to 12 now. But not just in his case, you guys and your teammates, it's almost like when you open yourselves up like that, you become a tighter family. And you used that word before to describe your teammates, and that sort of tightness in so many ways, I can only imagine, led to the on-field success.
Yeah, we became very open and honest with one another since we got in the clubhouse. The culture allows that to happen. And when we go through difficult situations, we do it together and we uplift one another. Being in a smaller college town and, the distractions can always be there, but we minimize them and we focused on one another. Why we were so successful and is we also thrived off, people saying that we couldn't do things because we knew we can. We can do anything that we set out to accomplish. And
you just about did.
In 2005, making it to the College World Series and being 2-0, we already knew we were coming back and we're going to find a way to win this thing. And that's when you can see it and you're driving towards it each and every day, you know what it takes. And you also understand that I have an important job to maintain this tradition even after I'm gone. I want to leave the uniform in a better place after I leave and trust that it's going to keep growing. And, in 2007, we weren't exactly on a tear through the season, and we just got in. I think we had a couple good series down the stretch, and we turned it on. Once we hit the postseason, we were on fire. It became a timing thing. And we knew once we got into the tournament that it was ours. It was the confidence that's shown each and every day. We knew that we all had accountability partners around us and that, we weren't going to allow each other to drift off anywhere other than bringing home the trophy.
And it happens twice, of course, as we mentioned. In your senior year, you wind up getting drafted again, this time in a bit of a better spot, I'd say. The Cardinals the previous year took you with their 41st pick, and here you are, another national title in the bag. And this season, you really stood out in the 2007, and the Padres took you 57th overall as a compensation pick right after the first official round of the draft. And so you begin your time in professional baseball.
Yeah, well, it was, coming to Oregon State as a corner infielder. I was an outfielder in high school, more of a football player and wrestler, really, part-time outfielder. And then coming into Oregon State, transitioning to being a catcher, it just says a lot about this program, going from not much of a baseball player to a 57th pick. That was extremely exciting. So thinking about, should I leave after 06? I said, no, I really want to get my degree and I want to go win it again. And I know we can. And then accomplishing all the things that we came here to do. Jumping into professional baseball, well, my first stop was right down the road in Eugene playing for the Emeralds. So it wasn't like I had to make a huge move right off the bat, but very exciting, getting to be around a lot of guys that I just got done playing against in the College World Series, playing against guys throughout the year. And, everyone, obviously it saw the run we had, but enjoyed my time with the Padres and, experienced my first full year. My brother passed away in the military. So, it kind of got off to a rocky first full season. But they had a lot of great people in the organization and a lot of close friends and family that came down to support it. But it was a much different world, where you don't have class, you don't have this big schedule other than here's the practice time and here's the game. And you gotta, be grown up to handle this responsibility. So I was very fortunate that being at a program like Oregon State, prepared me for that experience. Know how to use my time, how to budget, not only my time, but my finances. Having an idea of how to take care of the weight room and the on-field stuff. And then it just became, okay, you're playing, a full minor league season now, plus spring training and instructs. So learning how to manage your body and your sleep for a very lengthy season.
Yeah, and would you say that that's the biggest adjustment that you faced just in terms of the schedule and the volume of games, that sort of grind, the competition, or what was your biggest challenge going from college to pro, and what'd you kind of see and experience?
I seem to have a bit of a issue staying healthy personally, but I mean, there's a lot that plays into it. Everyone's going to have their own path. So for some people, the title of professional athlete can mix with their ego too much and distract them from where they need to be. The attention that you can get from, fans, both good and bad, and time commitment, scheduling, eating right, and helping your body grow. You're investing in yourself so that you can get to the big leagues and stay in the big leagues. You're trying to learn consistency. The amount of rest that you need, you're running into pro ball and you think that, what am I going to do all day? Am I going to play video games? Am I going to read books? Am I going to, the paychecks aren't very big to start. So, how am I taking care of what's in my fridge and what am I spending my time doing? You're also away from home a lot more, friends and family, for those that are, engaged or maybe later on have kids, are married, you don't get to see them as often. You're putting in long hours. You're trying to make this dream come to fruition. There can be numerous distractions that come your way, and some stuff that's in your control or not.
It's the first shot to be out on the road, certainly for a period of time, especially when you think about the kids really that signed right after high school, right out of high school, facing those types of things. And obviously you saw a lot of it pretty much from all ends. And we'll take a break as long as we're talking about all ends to talk about all ends of the promotional spectrum and our friends at Promotional Adventures. Promotional Adventures has got you covered for all of your bobblehead needs this season and this upcoming season. Dustin and his team have been at this for years, and they specialize in, of course, all ends of wherever your imagination will take you. And certainly polyresin items like statues, gnomes, piggy banks. And right now they're running a special where you can save at least $150 when you get free bobblehead boxes. And again, we talked about it last time. If you're not designing the boxes for your polyresin items, come and again, let me welcome you to the 21st century, because they, of course, dress up the item even more, increasing its value for not only the fans, but of course for the sponsors for it as well. By designing the packages, you get another opportunity or two to show off your branding and show off your clients as well. I like to put upcoming giveaway dates on the box, and right now you can do this for free. all through Promotional Adventures. You could do this totally free. Just check out promotionaladventures.com or click the link on the front page of minerside.com and take advantage of this great offer that allows you to deliver a professional item to your fans with your client's branding for absolutely no additional charge. We are talking free, of course. But Mitch, so after the rough times at the beginning of your career with the Padres, as you talked about, just a handful of up and down seasons later, you find yourself out of the Padres organization after being a 57th overall pick. And over the next couple of years, you have stints with the A's, Cardinals, Royals, and Nationals organizations, obviously catching at all stops. I do remember you playing some of the corners, but I guess in your own words, how would you describe the sort of back end of your playing days?
I learned a tremendous amount. I think being let go a few times, and also being on the Phantom DL, and also being on the real DL, allowed some opportunity to reflect and to listen. I learned a lot from the other guys I was playing with.
Sure, and just to squeeze in here that I guess the real DL or IL is obviously when you're hurt, but the Phantom DL kind of turns into how teams massage their rosters on the minor league level. Maybe a pitcher just threw and we're going to need another arm for tomorrow, or maybe we just called up somebody, or somebody was just sent back down to us and we don't want to lose that person from the organization. So they come up with a thigh bruise or something clever like that. But either way, Mitch, you were just talking about things that you learned. Who else were you learning from?
The coaches I had, jumping around from different organizations. So you're starting to see, different things that work and some things that, you don't necessarily agree with and you're going to try to avoid. I think it helped build a better version of myself and understanding, this coaching path. I thought each organization I was fortunate to be a part of, and there were some positives, and each organization has a few things that you may not necessarily agree with. A lot of great people in each organization, and it's just like, who are you going to surround yourself with? Be very cautious. That's one important piece of being successful in anything you do, and professional baseball is, who are you surrounding yourself with? And are they uplifting you and helping you move forward, or are they distracting you and taking you away from the ultimate goal that you have? Over the course of time, starting to really paint a good picture of, hey, this is the road that I'm driving on. And, if people are trying to insert into my life and put up an exit sign and detour me off that, I can't allow it. I have a great support staff in my vehicle as well, and say, hey, we're not exiting off here yet. We're going to keep going this way.
And so at what point while you were playing, did you make up your mind that this is what you were going to do when it was over? Because it looks like it was a pretty seamless transition from your last game as a player to your first in the dugout as a manager.
Yeah, I've always loved to teach. I love pouring into others. I've always been interested in community outreach. So I think coaching has always been, something that I've had a passion for. But at some point when you're playing and you're getting phone calls saying, hey, are you interested in coaching? You're like, wait a minute, I'm still playing. So the more phone calls you get about coaching, you start to wonder, I wonder if they're trying to tell me something. Like my body's not holding up, and you're getting to that age where have you made it happen yet? And having numerous numbers of surgeries, my body was getting to the point where, hey, it's not easy squatting behind home plate, running around and swinging a bat every day. But I didn't really let that distract me. I think I just naturally let it happen when I was ready to finish playing. I think the last year after the Nationals, I said, I'm healthy. I'm going to give it a go, play another year and see if anything happens, because I'm in a good spot mentally and physically, and went out and played independent ball. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna have fun this year. I'm gonna be with my family. We're gonna go to the ballpark and we're gonna spend time together. I ended up having a really fun, successful year, I felt, and I left smiling. You know, with no regrets towards baseball, and a lot of excitement for this next chapter. Before, sometimes as a player, you just get so consumed with yourself and what am I doing? How can I get there? And the reality is, the more you pour into other people and you give yourself a little bit of grace and know that you're working hard and trust it, you got a great opportunity in front of you. And the coach, I don't have to worry about myself, nearly as much. I'm sitting here focused on each and every student athlete that's here with us and that could be with us or that was here before. So don't have time to sit here and be selfish. It's all about taking care of other people.
Absolutely, and I can imagine, especially in those first two stops in Clinton, Iowa, with the Lumber Kings and the Midwest League, and then even a bit when you move up to the Carolina League with Modesto, you're on the development side with the players on the teams there. So there may be some parallels there to what you'll face and continue to face in your Oregon State clubhouses right now.
Yeah, you see a lot of the guys that we had our first couple of years managing, and they were right out of college playing it. So some of them playing at a very high level, and you see a lot of similarities in that level of play. In Division I baseball and A-ball, but there are some big time standouts, and the stuff that we learned being in the Mariners organization and professional baseball. How you can, how important the strength and conditioning coach is, how important the athletic trainer is, how important the analytics piece is for teaching tools. There's just so many things that we can be using, and making sure that we eliminate a lot of the noise and are very clear when we're talking with our student athletes about what we believe they need to do, getting buy-in, being transparent, and building relationships. This is those years in Clinton and in Modesto, I think, definitely helped form myself for being prepared for this.
And just heard that recently. Just got to cut through the noise. But you did touch on a couple of points in there I wanted to get to. So thanks for that. And it seems to be not that you're a part of it, at least to me personally. You bring sort of a old school work ethic to the table with a new school approach. Just because I saw something the other day, an article about the big league managerial openings on all of them that are open, and it was just talking about the candidates that could stand out, aside from how they handle the advanced information, but they could stand out just in how they could communicate. And so you're 35 right now, so you're in your mid 30s there, and part of that relates to how you can communicate to today's 19 and 20-year-olds. And some might not find that that's the easiest thing to do. So for you, how much of that ability would you say is a part of your success? And I mean, for the rest of us, what's the secret? What's your approach?
I think it's been a huge part of where I am right now on the coaching side. Having just finished playing and understanding how difficult the game is, I consider myself to be a growth mindset individual, always trying to learn. Having taught, high school, middle school athletes every off season, understanding, how they're thinking and how they apply the information. Was real important as well. I love to teach, love to be a part of the camps, because every generation consumes it a little bit different. And I think staying connected, if we're out there working on a drill, I'm probably going to be out there doing it too. Not going to lie, I'm a little bit sore right now from swinging the bat this last alumni weekend, because the alums are out swinging it. Hey, I'm an alum. I'll go out there and swing it too. If we're going to run bases, yeah, I'll run bases too. Should probably make sure I'm wearing pants when I'm sliding, but, I just think it's stay connected, continue to know how people communicate, And don't ever think that you know it all. And which I am very far from. Us as a coaching staff, we talk a lot about learning from one another. And every day, I'm picking something from Coach Dorman. I'm picking something from Coach Bailey, Coach Gibson, Coach Robertson, Coach Rao, you name it. We're sponges, and we want to keep learning. And if we stop learning and we stop being able to communicate with one another, that's when we fall really far behind. We can't let that happen.
All right. Well, we'll take that with us, and so much of what you said we'll take with us. I will certainly, at least. But thank you, Mitch. We'll be rooting for you this year. You'll be our Pac-12 team for sure. And thanks again.
All right. Take care. Have a good one.
Mitch Canham, head baseball coach for the Oregon State Beavers. So we'll say go Beavs. And man, if you can't get pumped up listening to Mitch talk and just be ready to go out there and be the greatest person and the greatest player, the greatest teacher, and all those things, then maybe we'll check your pulse, I guess. I checked in with Stephen Davis, who was a broadcaster for Mitch's teams as a manager in North Little Rock and as a player in Northwest Arkansas, and he said he'd be great. And he didn't lie one bit. Other than that, if you liked what you heard, of course, here on the Minor Side, please let us know. We look forward to interacting. The show is on social media at The Minor Side on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll be in touch and definitely look forward to next time we get a chance to talk. Also, of course, we thank Promotional Adventures for presenting this episode of The Minor Side of Life. For me, I am at Rob Sternberg on Twitter. Thank you so much for listening. Had a lot of fun. For the details, of course, here is the great Pete Candianis. He's a real nice guy.
This has been a presentation of The Minor Side of Life. We kindly ask for your support of this program by subscribing to the show on your preferred podcast player, joining the newsletter list at minorside.com, and following The Minor Side on social media. Plus, you can always visit theminorside.com for exclusive content and more. Thank you for listening.